Okay, welcome to Wellbeing Gets Real Conversations. I'm Charlotte Jamison, and I'm here with the wonderful Kellyanne. Kel is a mother of three beautiful boys and also a very hard worker. Kel, I know you've recently just got another promotion. What can you give us a bit of it? What do you do now? What's happening now? How much do you
So
work
my
with them?
role, yeah, look, I've got a full-time role. I went back to work 3.5 years ago, full-time.
Full on, you know. So
Go
both of you
on.
work full time and you've got three
Yes.
kids at school, one teenager. Love it. Okay. So how do you fit well-being into your day? How do you do it? What are
The
some little tips and tricks that
truthful
you do?
answer, not enough. Um,
But yeah, I mean that's
Look, I
reality.
would love to spend more time in an ideal world. And I'll be honest with you, before COVID, I did have it pretty down pat.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, I had my regimented days in the office. I've always worked a little bit from home.
Yep.
I would have, maybe 3 days in the office, 2 days from home. And on those 2 days, I was quite stringent about going to the gym, going for walks, swimming. I love physical exercise.
Mm.
Obviously, COVID put a spanner in the works of all of that. I just carried on going for walks as much as possible. And recently, we've gone back into the office a little bit more. So I'm back in the office a couple of days a week. During lockdown, my husband and I started to play squash together as our exercise, and we absolutely loved it. And if I'm honest with you, I didn't need to do anything else because I don't know if you've ever played squash, but you're extremely tired extremely quickly and you use up a lot of energy. So we were playing 3 or 4 times a week, which was fantastic. I've unfortunately hurt my arm because of all of that internet.
All that intensity.
Teach me being so fit. Um, so I've gone back to walking, and
Okay.
and I literally I still don't do as much as I would like to. I do try and go for a walk every day around about sort of 12:30, 1 o'clock ish. And even if I've got a meeting that overlaps that time, I try and do it as a walking meeting with my headphones in
Yeah.
and go. To be honest with you, during the day, I just don't get time to do anything else. That's pretty much it. If I get up from my desk for more than 5 minutes, it's a bit of a miracle. In the evenings, I'm pretty strict at logging off. When my last meeting or my last kind of piece of work comes to a natural end, and that can be anything between 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
But I do try and log off on those days where it is, say, 4:45 or something. I will log off just a little bit early because, the next day I could be working till 6 or so be it. So I do try and log off, and then I have got my work from home office in a little cabin at the end of our garden, which is kind of separate to the house. So I feel like I completely cut off. I've switched off. I've shut down, gone up to the house. I deal with the kids, sort out dinner. My husband and I have a bit of a routine going whereby he does the morning routine with the kids. He sorts out lunches, takes them to school, gets them dressed, does all of the morning stuff so that I can start work a bit earlier. And then in the afternoon, I tend to finish up around sort of 3 to 3:30, go and collect the kids, come home, give them afternoon tea, etc. If I need to go back to work for those couple of hours, then I do. Sometimes I don't, which is great. When I do finish for the day, we'll sit down as a family and we try and have dinner every night together. That doesn't always work. When my husband comes home, we tend to just muck around a bit, there's no set routine in the evenings. Whoever's able cooks dinner, and on the odd occasion, the kids all get wheat bix and we have beans on toast, and that's just the way it goes sometimes.
I love that.
So
Yes.
we try and home cook every night, but it doesn't always happen. We have pizza on a Friday night, which is always a takeaway, not healthy ones. And and then in the evenings, once you get the kids into bed, we tend to kind of veg on our own for an hour or so before we go to bed. Dylan, my husband, he likes to play the guitar, so he'll go off and do his thing. I tend to watch awful shows about serial killers and terrible crimes and things that really aren't very nice, but it's kind of my switch off time. I lie in bed and I'll just watch a show for an hour, whether it's I don't know, whatever it might be, CSI or some stupid show. Just for an hour or so, and then we get into bed together, and we generally lie around for a little while. And I don't ever go to sleep as early as I would like to, and I don't ever wake up as refreshed as I would like to. But that's
it's a
the way
work in
things are.
progress, isn't it? You know, these sorts of things, and even just having these chats can kind of just inspire or just put back that intention. You know, I know having these chats, it put bedtime in back on my radar because I just it's life happens, and before you know it, the sleep, it's unless you prioritize sleep, everything else gets priority over it. But there are an amazing amount of different things that you're doing to foster relationships, you know, with Dill, but also with your boys and as a family. And there's an amazing things that you're doing to, you know, to keep up the physical activity. So you mentioned at 12:30 every day, that's your walk time. And if you think about creating habits, it's so vital to have, if it's 12:30, then I go for a walk. Like that's this sort of ingrained habit. And you know, maybe there's one day that it doesn't happen or what have you, but generally speaking, you're like, it's 12:30, and even if I've got a meeting, I'm walking. And that movement is so crucial, and anchoring.
And it's good. If it's raining, I've actually got a little treadmill in this office area.
Oh, wow.
And so if it's raining, I go on that for half an hour. Or I kind of need my own headspace for a little while. And I also most of my friends are quite fit and healthy, and I feel like I'm the lagger. So if I don't do a bit of exercise every day, you know, I'm frowned upon. So I kind of try and keep
You are not frowned upon, I'm sure. But should you go for a walk with those people, you want to kind of keep up with them.
That's more to the point,
yeah. And it's inspiring to be around fit people, but it lifts you up because you're like, oh, you know, this is what we do, this is who we are. And that's another thing about habits. The more habits you do, you become that person, right? That a habit creates an identity. So you know, you are someone who, you know, is fit and walks and those sorts of things. So and prioritizes it at 12:30. And I love how you prioritize your switching off. So you're really intentional about you know, this is when I log off. And you know, Dill has the kids in the morning, so I'm in work mode in the morning, but I switch off. And what we've seen the effects of COVID has just the bleeding of work. It was already happening because of technology and agile workplace and that sort of thing. It was already happening, but the bleeding of work into home life has really caused a lot of distress for people. You know, this work family conflict has really it's really become quite a stressor for people. So it's good to have that physical separation with the office space, but also that intentional, like, I'm switching off now, and you know, I've got my mum hat on.
I think you need to do that. Don't get me wrong, if there is a particular case or something, that more so my old role, not this one, a particular case I might have been working on, it consumes you, you know, because it could be a big case and you don't necessarily switch off when you want to. But I do try and make the conscious effort to switch off, and when I logged off for the evening, I've logged off for the evening. And otherwise I'm kind of beholden to the kids on that as well, because they do pick me up on it if I say to them,
isn't it cool?
Go back.
It's cool once they get to that age. But that's you've obviously taught them that, you know, the functional way to do things is to switch off and to be present, what have you. So you've obviously taught that and role modeled that to a degree, and so now they can, like, teach you. They become the teacher as well, and it's
It really do.
It's funny. My daughter wrote my husband a little letter the other day because Matt had a huge big presentation to do, and my daughter wrote a little message. She was saying, now what you have to do, Dad, is to calm down. You need to take a deep breath, and you need to think about all the times that you did well before, and you did a presentation well before, and that sort of thing. And it was like, wow, the kid becomes the teacher because, you know, that's what you've been feeding them. So it's cool. And then, the fostering of relationships over dinner time. You know, in this day and age, that's something that us as a family are working on. It's usually just me and the kids. So we're really trying to work on, at least on the weekends, making that the priority, and then maybe one time a week. But it's a really beautiful way to just all come together and foster that relationship.
Really is. And you know, I mean, I know COVID has been a nightmare, but for us as a family, a few good things did come out of that, because pre-COVID, my husband was never home for dinner ever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we were lucky if we saw him once a week,
Yeah.
before 6 o'clock or 6:30.
Yeah.
Sometimes later. And then during COVID, obviously, we all became this unit, and you know, you're stuck in a house together constantly, 24/7, because you didn't go anywhere or see anybody else for such a long time.
Yeah.
And you actually learn quite a lot about each other, I think. You know, we learned a lot about each other as a family during that period of time. And actually the kids are, you know, they're really quite good company. So, you know, we would sit with them and have dinner, and my husband's walking in right now. He doesn't know I'm on a recording, so excuse me, I'm on a recording. Thank you. Thanks. Oh, he's brought me chicken nuggets. So, there you go. See, there are many advantages.
This is called outsourcing. Fostering relations, so that you can outsource and they can bring you lunch.
I know. It's actually quite nice as well. There's lots in there as well. I'll get to those in a second. See, so healthy eating is actually something I need to make a priority, because these nuggets are not healthy eating. But dinner in general for us is pretty good. And we sit around and we talk and we laugh, and you know, and the kids, we do try and make them come to the dinner table every night. My eldest son is 14, and as a typical 14-year-old, you know, he wants to kind of stay in his room and sit on his phone or whatever, and we're quite strict with the fact that he has to come out at dinner time and he has to sit with us and the family and have dinner, you know, and talk to us about his day and tell us. I mean, sometimes you get a great conversation out of him, sometimes you get next to nothing. But I've also made it a real big deal with him in particular, that every night before bed, I go into his bedroom and just sit on the edge of his bed for it can be anything between 5 to 20 minutes, you know. How was your day? And that's when I kind of scoot
the verbal diarrhea, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's amazing that he still talks to me. So I try and do that. And the other two get stories. They're a bit younger, but Cooper especially, I try and talk to him, because he doesn't say very much when he gets in from school, and then he's out with his friends and what have you. So it's very important to me, and look, part of my well-being is knowing that my kids are okay, and if I didn't think they were okay, I wouldn't be okay, and I wouldn't be able to perform all my other functions. So I need that time with them in the evenings to make sure that they're good.
You're really acting out your values. Your values, to me, sounds like, you know, being the mother that, you know, you wish to be there for those conversations, and to make sure that you have that relationship, that he can sort of talk to you about anything. And so it sounds like you're intentionally carving out those times to build those relationships, and you've clocked when it's a helpful time to talk to him and probe him, and when it's not, because it certainly cannot happen very easily straight after school.
No, and especially not with, I mean, you know, boys sometimes can be a bit more difficult to talk to in general, I think. But they're all actually saying that. My kids have all got verbal diarrhea, so they don't, you know, they.
I wonder why that is, Kel. I wonder why that is.
I think.
Perfect segue to say, let's wrap up the conversation.
No, I know it's 12:30. I have to get out for my walk.
You do. Brilliant. So there's some physical stuff there that you've got with the 12:30 stuff. You've got the switch off, the mental preservation there, where you're absolutely switching off, and you've got the fostering relationships over dinner, over the quiet time to chat, and really acting on your values there. So I mean, lots of things working, and that you can tweak, and maybe inspire you to sort of take out of this what's one thing that you might like to tweak for next week, to sort of think about it. It's a good way to kind of put things in the front of our mind again. But to wrap up, I did want to say, just ask quickly, is there a little tradition that you guys have? I know, you know, family dinner and that sort of thing, but a little tradition that you have that you can leave us with?
Yeah, we have an ongoing thing in our house that we all have to tell each other something funny that happened during the day. And, you know, something.
So you guys.
I know. It's just a stupid little thing, you know, but it's like, you know, we'll say what happened today that was funny. And if the kids sometimes say, they'll say nothing. And we say, something must have happened. You know, did nobody trip over in front of you? Or, you know, something stupid. Yeah. And if we've all said nothing happened, then either Dylan or I will do a stupid dance, or, you know, and make them laugh, and we'll say, there you go, there's something funny that happened. So it's just all about kind of, we just want them to be happy, and I think laughter is the best medicine for anything. So
positive
yeah,
emotions is, we're always looking for the negatives. So building in those positive emotions throughout the day. It's oh, that's wonderful. Well, thank you very, very, very much for taking the time to have a little chat, and inspiring me and inspiring others.
No worries. It was lovely to see you.
Yeah, you too. All right. See you later.